Hey, kia ora mai tātou te whānau. Ngā mihi atu ki a koutou I tau mai ki te Kaitiaki Marakai. Welcome to Kaitiaki Marakai Backyard Gardens. We run a project up here where we're encouraging whānau to get back into their gardens, back into creating food solutions and security solutions for their own whānau and hapua niwi here in Northland. Today we are running a workshop here in my backyard, which is next door to the church, and amongst our Māra here. We're looking at seed germination, looking at quality of seeds, the timing of planting, moon phases, root crops, bottom of the moon and so forth. So for example, today, tomorrow is actually the new moon. Tomorrow, over the next couple of days, we'll be seeing the new moon in Tarangi. So today is really the last day of the last quarter, which we call Mauri. Now, in the Mauri phase of our Māramataka Māori, it's the dawn through to midday. That's the good time to do stuff. And if you think about Mauri, it's one essence of it. It's about the energy, the life force, the activity that's happening inside the soil that feeds the plant. And part of our role as Kaitiaki, or as facilitators of looking after our Māra, is to encourage and nurture the mauri in our soil. And it starts with our soil, seed germination, propagating, and all that type of mahi. Anyway, that's what we're doing today in our backyard. We're running from 10 o'clock through to 12 o'clock, and we're just going to have some snippets. We've got Tony from Sowing Gardens coming in and running the workshop with us, and we're just doing a little bit of a propagating. I created a little propagating space over here where we've actually got some seedlings. We're going to be doing some more work. Well, here's my kuma patch over the back here. I pruned this tree here last week. We've got some raised beds on this side that eventually we're going to put out and use that as a way of encouraging whānau in their own mana. But we've got a lovely morning here. It's going to be awesome. Click the like button, click the share button, and if you find this interesting or helpful, please make a comment. We're wanting to encourage whānau wherever we are around the world and whatever season you're going into. For us here in Aotearoa, New Zealand, we're coming out of our summertime and we're going into our winter soon, so we're in that transition phase, that autumn phase, and so we're all thinking about what happens there. What do we do with our summer crops? What do we do with preparing for our winter crops and all that type of stuff? And seed germination, seed propagating is an integral part of your marama planning. So yeah, stay around and watch what we're doing. We'd love to have you with us. Alright then, hei kona.
My name's Tony Henderson. I'm a former organic grower, certified. I was certified for 15 years. Most of my produce went to Auckland, and a little bit of it got sold around here, about 5%, between that and Pai here. Farmers market. Yeah, it was a real steep learning curve. Especially the first 2 years when I thought I'd have a go at it, and man, it was hard going. I was very fortunate that an Israeli boy came in from Ottawa, I think it was, or Ontario. He'd worked on organic farms up in Maine, and he worked with growers that had been mentored by Elliot Coleman, which was one of the top organic growers in Maine. And he suggested if I couldn't try for the book, if I couldn't get it, his parents would send it to me, free of charge. But we managed to get it in Australia, and now Rebuy has the books, passed on. Anyway, we'll get back to this. That's enough of me. Probably one of the most important things is good quality seed raising mix. To be honest, you can do it with compost, good quality compost that is, not just ordinary compost, but you've got to put additives into it like fish meal and dolomite. But this we're using here is from Black Magic. It's very good stuff, very good medium, and that starts. And the quality of your seeds, well, Kings are pretty good. Most of them are fairly good, but you just got to know how long they've been hanging around the shelves and check the use by dates. I store my seeds in the fridge all the time. I've got up to 7 years out of brassica seeds, and they're still fire up. Saying that, beans I store in the freezer. I'm not using them. And the other thing is the timing of your seeding on the moon. A lot of people seed the moon, and it makes a difference. I tried something for the first time for seeding this time. I normally seed about now. It's just about due to change into a new moon. And sorry. And I went a week early, so it worked out with this demonstration this morning. And it really worked well.
So for those who are watching, particularly from a Māori background, and I mentioned earlier in my introduction, so the phase that we're in today is called Mauri, and from dawn till midday is the best time for planting, and particularly what we're doing, as Tony's mentioned.
Yeah, there's a grist on the edge of it. When you do seed, and you put them in a tray like this, now these are leftovers. This stuff was planted last Friday.
Fast growth.
Fast growth. I was very surprised. Now, seeding into a good medium, you use your trusty knife again, the cut down one, and you draw a line through there. And we're using some seed, I'm not sure if it's viable or not. You can do this two ways, but the easiest way is to use this little Y, which is a vibrator seeder. Now you put your line in, not too deep, because they only like to be about the depth of the seed. And you'll see them dropping off. There's a little vibrator inside here. And then just pull it together softly. Do not tamper, do not push them down at all.
That's probably my first mistake.
Me too.
And I use a marker here, and I use an HB pencil because it's easy to rub off your tab marks. And you write down here your type and your date. So, and then we will put over with inside a shaded area. Shaded area inside a shade house or a nice shady area, and we put this diffusing tray on top so it lowers the light quite a bit. And they normally should be moving in about 2-3 days. If you think it's getting a little dry because you've moistened the soil, dipped it in that tray there, and allowed it to come to the top, and then allowed it to dry off, and you should do that before you start your seeding.
So pick the whole tray up.
Yeah, drop it in.
Drop it in so it's submerged.
Submerged, and then pull it back out.
Yeah.
And it'll soak up the stuff. And you bring it out and let it drain. And on the grass. And then you just leave it. And you keep an eye on it every morning and night. And you let it get to about 10 mil high. Now these guys are a bit leggy, because they're the last of the bunch. There's a couple of small ones in there, but they're a bit leggy. They just make it more difficult.
Okay, let's just recap some of that a little bit. So the tray you can get from a garden supply place.
$253.
Yeah, or Mega Māra 10 or Bunnings here in New Zealand, Coles if you're over in Australia, and you've taken some of your black seed mix,
Yep.
put it into this tray. Have you added anything else to it? It's
Nothing.
just that mix.
Nothing.
Yep. Okay.
It comes fully set up just to work to seed.
Okay. And as Kay was mentioning, and we're talking through, to give, so that's quite dry, you want to moisten the soil before you plant into it?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, and that's your drop tray over there.
And if it does get a bit dry, you need one of those little squirters and just moisten it. But it should be enough to keep it going.
So the plastic, is that supposed to be opaque like that?
Pardon?
The plastic on there,
Yep.
that diffuse, so
Yeah.
it needs to be opaque.
Yeah, just to look after it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so,
as they start to show, take it off, but put it back on at night because you get the mice getting into it because they go after the seeds and make a mess.
Yes.
And
Right.
they will do so. You leave that off.
Okay,
Right.
so you've done your planting, you've marked out what you've got in there.
Yeah.
So you could do a whole tray of
We
those.
do that 7,
For 7? Okay.
and you mark each one.
Yep. Yep.
You don't, otherwise, it gets confusing because when you're doing brassica together, that's another thing because brassica is around the same timing. So what did we have in here? We had Caballero,
bok choy,
cabbage,
kale.
kale, pak choy, and there was 2 lots of pak choy, the flowering pak choy as well, which is
Okay.
very nice to eat. And
So you've sown it, and now say again what's the function of this? Which
just to protect the plant at night.
Yep.
It's just a diffuse light because it's on there until it actually emerges.
Yep.
And again, you just keep an eye on it night and morning. Check it.
And you take it off during the day.
Yes,
Yep. And where do you store this during the day?
inside a tunnel, inside a shaded area.
Does that suffice?
Yeah, it'll be fine.
So something like that there. Yeah. So you could have it out here during the day, and then at night put that on back on
But
top.
as soon as you get good emergence, probably up about 2 to 3 mil, get it outside into full light
Right.
and cover them at night. Remember that.
Yep.
And if there's heavy rain, bring them in.
So like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a cabbage.
Okay. Awesome.
Now pricking out. Dampen these again, drop them in. And let them dry off. And then you just drive that knife in like that. Now always loosen these off. Keep as much as the root system together as possible. I'm quite rough with them. Always handle them. These are going to be a bit tricky because they're a bit long. We normally only about like that long, but this is the last of it. But we have got some here. Handle them by the leaves, not by the stems. If you do damage that stem, you can either get deformed growth or they die altogether.
Yep. Okay.
So, and we just drop it in like that, and just don't tamper down.
Oh, there's my second mistake. Okay.
And then if we're going to do it with the long one,
Yep.
we drop it in like that. Put the soil back.
Gee, you like that real easy, don't you?
Eh? Oh, this is because if I missed the boat and forgot to check them,
Yep.
and you're starting to rage into a full moon. This was a lot more controllable after with the different moon phase being on it.
Yep.
At the bottom of the moon, I call it. And once these guys hit the full moon, they're ready for it, and they will take off.
Yep.
And I reckon you could save yourself 3 to 4 days.
Yep.
I never thought about it before, but it's the first time we've done it, so it works. And we'll drop it. What have we got in here?
Okay, so just tell us again what's the term that you're doing for here?
Pricking out.
Pricking out. Okay. So how long from planting your seed in this tray in days, roughly, to get to the pricking out stage?
Well,
This is obviously 7 days
this was
here.
seeded last Friday a week ago,
Yep.
and by Wednesday, Thursday, I had to start pricking out.
Okay, so it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
If we were in a full moon, it could be even quicker.
Yeah, so
You need at least 10 mil length.
okay, 10 mil in length.
Yeah.
Yep.
These are because these ones are
So 3 to 5 days, yes?
So why are you folding them?
Just to fit them in. They'll form roots off the stems.
Yes. Because I know tomatoes make roots from stems.
Oh yes.
Yes.
See, I'll pull that and you lose half of the roots. But if you get under it, because these guys have started at the 10 mil stage, they've got less roots to worry about. Oh, this is going to be a bit tricky.
It's a long one, eh? Okay.
So you should only have a little bit of the. Because what I would normally have done is planted it like that.
Yeah, no.
I would never have thought to push it all the way into the soil.
Okay, so
If they're
that
too,
3 to 5 day window is quite crucial because
Oh,
the
yeah.
length, obviously these are now too long because of the height of our
yeah,
what we're planting them into.
yeah,
But
yeah. Now, we don't know what these guys are like. I've got some seeds there I'm going to throw out. Yeah. And you might have to dip again, but this stuff retains the moisture. So you've really got to keep it just a nice moisture, not too wet, because damping off is one of the biggest problems you'll get.
so is that one of the husbandries that you'll do along that 5 to the germination stage of this that first week?
Yeah,
Is how moist do you keep that?
just enough. Don't let it get dry on top. If it's dry on top, squirt it. You shouldn't have to dip it again.
Okay.
That first dip, and it should be good to go.
Yeah.
And keep it out of the wind. That's probably another reason you use that at night.
Yeah.
That would also get the slugs and snails off them too, wouldn't
Yes, and mice.
Yeah.
Yes, slugs and snails.
Would you need that inside? So if you had it stored inside like my tray beach over here?
I would have it on it at night,
Okay.
just to keep mice out.
Yes.
And during the day, once they're up. Yeah, but until they can emerge, I leave that on.
Right.
And I put this on to allow for the extension. Because normally, when I first start, like this, because there's nothing, but as they grow, they start to interfere with that, so we put the spacer on.
Okay. And it's kind of like a mini greenhouse, isn't it?
Yep, it's a
Yeah.
mini greenhouse to get you going.
Yep.
And then you put these out, I put them out in full sunlight. I started off with mesh, chicken mesh 19 mil. It sort of kept the white butterfly out, but I forgot about the blue diamond head blue moth, which attacks around sunset, and they leave little loopers on. See?
Yes.
There's those little blue ones you see flying in the grass.
Yeah.
Yeah, the little wee
Blue
moths.
moths. So these guys, they lay their little loopers. You can't, unless you give the plant a shake, you can't see them. With the caterpillar, you can see them straight off, or see the eggs underneath.
Yeah,
Yeah, and you can wipe them as they get bigger.
yeah.
Or you've got to sit and wait for them to emerge, and then you hit them with BT, which is a biological spray. Virtually gives them a crock stomach and just die off. But most people can handle the infestation with their fingers, digital control. Now,
Okay, while we're talking about pests, if you're not following an organic process, obviously you can do whatever you want. But because we are here, and particularly this backyard garden here, how do you manage those pests that you're talking about, the white butterflies and that little blue moth?
keep the plants well watered,
Yep.
healthy as possible. There's a point where the plants have been really healthy and they fly up and just fly away.
Yep.
There is
Say that again.
Huh?
Say that again.
There's a point where they'll come up, they like to attack a weaker plant for some reason, and I've watched them, and the plants are really booming, they've got plenty of nitrogen below them, good balance of soil, and they'll just look around and just move on to the next one.
I've seen them do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've seen them do it. Why didn't you land on that way through that one, especially for you to lay your eggs on?
Yeah.
And they fly off and they lay their eggs on my other plants.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Oh.
Now, thinking about the ecology of the health around the garden, so you've got soil, plant health. Are there other insects or critters or bees or that we could actually encourage into the garden that kind of does the watering for us? as opposed to
Some
sprays?
of the wasps do. They'll attack the caterpillars.
Yep.
The best thing is to do it yourself with BT. Anything that crawls, it'll kill.
BT
Yep.
is
It's a permitted organic input.
okay.
Where do you get it?
And just so for our listeners that are watchers that don't know what BT is.
It's a biological spray that they just keep eating. The residue is put on last thing at night. It does
Yep.
not like sunlight. As soon as the sunlight goes on it in the morning, that's it, it's finished.
Okay.
The residue stays on the spray. They keep eating, eat the residue as well. And that's it. They just die off.
Yep.
You see their stomachs go all black inside.
And is that readily available?
You can get it at Fruit Fed, any of the big places.
Yep.
How small an amount they do, I don't know. And it needs to be kept in a dark place as well. Dark cool place.
Could you order it online?
Possibly. I might be able to find you some, but I'm not sure how good it is. I have to put a bit into it. Now the other way of seeding, you've got to be spot on. Now you imprint.
So what we're doing here is if we're not utilising the tray method.
I prefer the pricking out because you know what you've got, you know your seed.
Yep.
But if you are really sure your seed's okay, you can do it this way. A lot of people do.
This way, so under Hua Parakore, they call this the whakapapa phase or principle of gardening, is you know the origins of your seed and therefore the health of it, the history of it, has it been genetically modified, all those types of things. So part of your plant health is knowing the source and where you got your sourcing of your seeds from. Yep.
Right. Some people like to do it. Calling that now. A direct seed. That's the word I'm looking for. It's a bit early in the morning just yet. And you can do it that way. You can do it off something that's V-shaped and just drop them in like that, or you can invest in one of these, which are a lot of money really for what they are. And it's pretty tricky to get one to fall off the edge, so I just always push them off the edge. And we just use a knife and just fill over. And again, you fit them inside those trays. You can fit 6 of these inside one of those trays.
So why don't you compact the soil?
Fix the root line. I guess the root's better to start.
So that's like when we were doing the gardens yesterday, how we were broad forking it. If in one element to it, we were actually aerating the soil, and so keeping it loose keeps and therefore the flow of the roots.
Yep, and it makes it easier for the plant.
Yes. Rather than it compacted, which is that soil compaction.
Especially when you walk on it.
Yes, that's right.
If you're
So while he's doing that, we'll just recap. So you've got your tray where you want to do 7 rows of a particular plant or variations on it, and then you prick them into. What's the purpose of this part here? It's just to get them into more mature seedlings for planting in it.
Yeah, and control the root.
Yeah.
I personally prefer to plant into trays.
Yeah.
I'll fill them up and I will go between 36 and 42 plants across. I used to use a jig, but it comes second. You just do it.
Yep.
You space it out, boom, boom, and you just work a line.
Yep.
So you plant these guys directly into the soil where they're going to grow the rest of the line.
Yeah, you actually work them out of the plant. You can. These are quite good. This type of seed. You can just roll them out, push them at the bottom, and roll them, and just out they'll come. They're a bit harder to push the seedling out. The straight-sided hard plastic ones are much easier to slide out,
Yeah.
but these are much cheaper.
Yeah.
So you learn to work with it. Yeah.
And then we moved on to direct sowing into these little trays here. So would you do a similar process for these ones in relationship to the covering over the top, or you just let them?
I let them, cover them over.
Okay.
Keep the mice out till they get away.
Yeah. And how many did you say you can get into one of these trays?
One of these trays is
Yep.
42 plants.
Sorry, of this.
Oh, you can get 6 of these in here.
Yep.
So it makes it easier for dipping.
Yes.
Try and keep the water below, underneath the roots.
Yep.
I only water overhead when I'm feeding with wormweed,
Yep.
which is about a 5% weak mix.
Yep.
Again, you can get damping off if your weather goes against you, or there's not enough airflow.
So effectively, though, if you've gone into this one,
Yeah.
and we'll get onto that one next.
No, next.
But if we do this 6 into this tray, and we're effectively doing the same thing that you would have done for here,
Yeah.
for the germination sort of things. Okay, nice. That's good to know.
Okay. Now the P3/4 bag. This is what you need. Say if you're playing with courgettes or cucumbers or pumpkins. Some people direct seed into a compost heap, but if you haven't got a compost heap, you can put them in there. You can fit 20 of those into one of those trays, so it's easy to dip.
Yep.
It's amazing what you remember.
So say again what you were doing here, which for this particular.
This is set up for growing cucurbits.
Pumpkin, eh?
Pumpkin or that. I've managed to find a cucumber seed. Now,
Okay, I'll just get your view of your finger. What you're doing with that?
when you put them in the soil, side on, down, like that,
Yes, I've been putting them flat.
and for some reason, they seem to be able to throw a root down and a piece up.
Now I have seen some that might cut the ends of it, an end of it a little bit.
Yeah,
Is that necessary?
I've never seen that, but then again, I learn something every day. So,
You don't have to moisten the seed at all?
keep an eye on it because they will rot if you overdo it. And
So what was it you just put in? Cucumbers.
cucumbers.
So, prior to putting the seeds in these, would you dip it into there?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
let it dry off
Yeah.
and put it in.
Then let it drain and then plant to get the excess water out.
Yeah, and just leave it on the ground to dry for 5 or 10 minutes. This stuff seems to just hold enough moisture to keep you going. You'll be surprised how less of watering you have to do. With compost, for some reason you have to do a lot more watering. It's probably
It's drier.
Yeah, it's bigger gaps. I'm going to need a glass of water soon. Too much chocolate. The pumice keeps it open. It seems to, right. If you want results, this is the only way to go.
Yeah, I've always used seed laden because the other stuff's got too big a pieces in it.
Yep.
Or I've actually sifted it and got rid of the big pieces out.
Well, if you buy good quality compost, you can get away with it, but you're still going to spend money on it.
Yeah,
Fish meal is $5 or $6 a kilo.
yeah. Unless you dog
And
it.
dolomite, well, $20 odd dollars a 20 kg bag. They need it, but this stuff will have everything that the plant needs. And the only thing extra is the odd liquid feed with a very low dose of rennet or blood and bone or something like that. A bit of seaweed's good. Again, keep it weak. Don't do it in full sun because it'll burn. It's quite powerful.
Have you used comfrey?
Yeah,
Marinated?
Yep, and again, do it possibly early in the morning.
Yep.
That's good for potassium.
Yep.
Comfrey and seaweed together. Now these guys are about 4 weeks old. This is broccoli. Got a different leaf to the cabbage.
So, Kay raised a good question. So we've done the either direct sow or the pricking method,
Yep.
and that part there was about a 7-day window.
Yep.
So from the time of them through to germinating, how long has it taken roughly
About
to get to this point?
4 weeks.
4 weeks, okay.
We could do it just probably under 4 weeks with the method we've used. We'll see how they go.
Yep. So from 4 weeks here, we're now going into transplanting. Yep.
We'll just roll them out. These are a bit more difficult, easier than the others. We just push them out like that. I'm inclined not to pull the stem because they just pull out of the root system. I try and hang on to as much of the root system as possible. And here we go. It's all set to drop in the ground.
Would you like to plant one?
Yeah.
Shall we do one?
We'll do one, we'll do it.
Yeah, we'll do it. Because I've got a spot that I prepared last night.
Yeah.
Yep. And that, if you bring that yellow bucket there. I prepared this last night. Yeah, I have. Yep. Right in there.
Right, I normally give them about 300 spacing.
Sorry, can you say again, just for we've planted, seedlings are grown, 4 week, was it again? Was it 4 week?
4 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, 4 weeks.
Yeah, so we're now planting as if we've gone through a 4 week window, so another month's time.
Yeah.
So what, just to remind our folk, what I've done in here is I cleaned up yesterday. I've put in board forked it, put in blood and bone, put in sheep pellets, and put in a layer of compost, mixed it all together. And as you can see, I put some Raska's bok choy over there, and now we bring these ones in. Yep.
Now I would plant these as deep as possible, right down to the gunnels.
Yes. So you don't get this type of thing, eh?
You don't get lean over.
Yeah.
And it grows more roots, so you're pushing it right in.
Yep.
And I don't even bother tempering it down. I let the rain and whatever, you know, and it soon closes up, and it gives the roots a good chance to get out and get going. And, yeah, and I normally give them about 300 space because they're quite a big plant.
We're going to get the plant it and we'll plant it out just so you show
Okay.
the kind of the chemistry that you're making with it. So we won't need to put blood and bone in, unless you want to put it directly into the hole.
Yeah, I'll put. And we turn it over a bit. Good compost here. Is this your own compost?
No,
Okay.
source from
There you go, in there.
what's it?
And then we'll
Gaps between the seedlings.
about 300.
300. Yeah.
Get down and deep again,
Which is basically the shovel.
and they don't get windy.
Yep.
Don't get the wind affect them. You're better at pulling those plants out than me, okay? You want to be looking at my tradie shorts.
You want to come here,
I was just thinking you should get rid of that bulb there too.
Oh, that's a good shot.
What's that?
See that bulb there? You should chuck that out
Oh yeah.
because that'll grow. Something else.
You don't want that hanging around. I've inherited that out there.
So what are we actually planting here?
Broccoli.
Broccoli.
Broccoli, yeah.
Okay.
And the rest of them will go into fills. I'll get rid of those, they need to go.
Yep.
They're not, they're in primo neck. They're not showing any purpley sounds on the leaves, which is starting to become running out of nitrogen.
Yep.
So you've obviously been feeding them regularly, weekly.
Yes, from my worm farm.
Yeah.
Good old worm juice.
We've got room for it. Sorry.
Yep. Take another one.
Yeah, another one. These are really good.
So you don't disturb this root at all?
Try not to.
Because what I would normally do is I just squeeze this out and
Unless they're really bound up.
yeah, like
These guys are good. They're
I
really,
think
they're
they'll be
optimum to go. These will need a bit of water on them. If you've got a bit of seaweed hanging around in the afternoon, put that on, a week mix on them to get them a starter. Yeah, that's good.
Got one left.
Where you standing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're going to do a second line, to save space, plant over here on a diagonal. Now there's two reasons for this. You can space them in quick, use more available space in your garden.
Yep.
And the second reason is it's easy to weed with a hoe. I'll show you. If they're on a diagonal, you can get a big line going that way. So you're effectively not going like that, a shorter run, that way.
Oh, yeah.
You're weeding with a hoe and you wait for your weed heads to come up, probably at the 3-day mark. And you take it through, whack and knock them. You can use torpedo hose.
Yeah.
Just be careful around your seedlings, be awake because you'll go straight through them. And yeah, a shuttle hoe is good.
So what's a
You've got one of
torpedo
those.
hoe? What's a shuttle hoe?
You've got that shuttle hoe?
Yeah, that's inside the shed there.
I'll show you the shuttle hoe. Sometimes known as a click-clack. It's designed, the Germans wish they'd invented them, but they didn't. They claim it. Like the Aussies in our rugby. A few other things like that. Anyway, when we got set on diagonals, we're going like that. And we're loosening the top soil because your weeds only grow in the top 20 mil of your soil. So if you can keep that under control, eventually you'll kill a lot there.
Hence why the 3-day window when you see the weeds come up,
Yeah,
work on them then. Yep.
this is quite a big one for this. You can step down to a 4-inch, that's a 6-inch. And that's a bit easier to control.
What's that called again?
It's called a stirrup hoe.
Looks like a stirrup.
Or, yeah, what was the other name? Click, click?
Click clack because they make the noise they make.
Oh.
Now we have a small 3-inch one that I used to use with spring onion.
They must be Māori that named that. Oh, that sounds like a click clack. That's the name of that.
Yeah, and that's quite good.
Stirrup. Yeah.
They need to be kept sharp. And the last thing I use quite a bit is the cultivator. We've got the
Oh,
This one?
yeah.
And the best thing about this, this is nothing new about. You can use these through, and what it does knock the weeds around a bit. It's probably not as effective as that, but it loosens up all your soil and releases the nitrogen in your soil. And these techniques go back to the 18th, 19th century with horse-drawn set up these with their grew Swedes and between the rows of grains and stuff, and it just loosens up everything, and you'd be surprised what nitrogen hanging around is not being used. And it loosens up, feeds it to the plant. And this is my main thing. A nice long handle, so it's easy on your back. All these guys have got really long handles. Yeah, what do we need here now? You can probably put another one there, another one there,
Yep.
another one there, another one there. And with the diagonal, you effectively put more plants in for less garden space.
Yeah, I plant diagonally like that because I can get more plants in, but I never thought about it for the weeding.
Or you just get the tools to suit.
Yeah. I've got one of those. I don't have one of those, but I've got a little
You
Japanese
can buy these online.
weeder, which
Yeah.
is really cool.
If you're using, you can probably find that size there. You can get them online. Just buy the end.
I tend to sit down when I weed
Yeah, it's okay.
because my back gets too sore.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Now, do we need to cover the soil at all? Because sometimes the thing about weeds is soil's exposed, and so it's wanting to be covered.
Yeah. If you're
Mulching around it, or you don't need to for
you
this
mulch
stage?
it if you're going to be away for a while, but if you're around and you see they always say the 3-day rule. You've got 3 days to sort the.
Yep.
You'll notice that in the Coleman book.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. Yep.
The 3-day rule.
What is the 3-day rule?
Okay, they're knocking off within 3 days.
Oh, right.
Don't just disturb them. It's like kaiku, it doesn't like being disturbed, weeds. But there's no use to go down too deep because you're dragging another lot of seed heads up. So if you keep
Right,
on
so
top.
This is the top.
Yeah, and some people use that torpedo heat and just cut them in half. These guys will cut them in half too.
Yeah,
And
nice.
there's another little tool, it's called the dancing partner. You hold it like this and it's a blade. And you go like this. I'll bring one out, I'll bring it out in the next garden show. And you hold it like a dancing partner and you drive it along. It just cuts the weeds in half. It's a little blade on the end of a stick, really.
That's what I've got. The Japanese tools like that. It's a blade
Yeah,
on the end of
yeah,
the stick.
yeah.
It's about, blade's about that long. And
Yeah.
It's flat, curved, sticks there, and I just do that. I just drag it underneath the weeds and cut
Yep,
them off.
yep, just keep going. Eventually, hopefully, we'll just get it up. You've got weeds on your garden?
No, I've got platinum because my paddock's trying to turn back to paddock.
Just keep at it and just
Yeah, platinum. There's this other.
They just throw those little like spring onion type things up in the air. And if you get them early enough,
Yeah,
they'll kill
they
'em.
pull out quite easily too, but it's easy. I just go down with the tool.
Yeah.
I've got this other
You do it
sort of
standing
fleshy
up.
thing that's really
Yeah.
big. Oh, so yummy, aren't
We'll go through all this again probably in May. Another thing is when you're using trays and 6-packs, give them a wash.
6 packs of those ones.
Yeah, a bit of soapy water if you wish,
Those ones. Yep.
and just leave them out in the sun, and the sun will kill anything else that's there.
Yep.
If it were using wooden trays, I'll be using a light dose of granola.
Oh, yep.
That's a rubber glove job.
Yep.
I
But these are very forgiving.
generally wash them with a very light granola solution, like a bucket like that, and probably only like
Yeah.
a cap full of granola in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that will clean them up and leave them in the sun.
Yeah, my first stage is I'm just take. I've used it.
Yeah.
I'll just drop it in here for a bit
Yeah.
and let it. Yeah, and then I'll take it out. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. This for the garden, it's all 6-packs.
Yes.
And each month I put a 6-pack of broccoli, cabbage, and what else I'm planting. And I just do it monthly.
Oh, yep.
And that's enough to keep Linda and I going. And a few couple of,
Transition planting, so
yeah.
yeah.
You've always got
So once
something
a
coming
month.
on. Yeah.
6 packs of something. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You'll notice in my garden there'll be 6 of that, and there'll be 6 of something else, and 6 of that.
Yes.
The major crop out there is the leeks, and it's about, I suppose, about 20 leeks in.
Yeah.
That'll keep us going for the winter.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I've got 90 leeks planted.
All right. So if it's taken us 4 weeks to get to this phase here, we're actually
And
transplanting.
they are ready to go.
They're planting, and at a push, it's 6-7 days from either direct sowing.
Or line,
6-pack.
line propagation.
Yep. What you've done over there.
Yeah, wait for them to come
So you've got about 5 weeks from there
to there.
to there.
And as we get further into shortening days, it gets a bit more.
Yeah.
Can get up to 5.5 weeks.
Okay.
But in the winter, you should have it already in the ground. It takes
Yep.
6 weeks to get it through if you've got less light.
So now we've planted. From there to harvest,
16, 17 weeks.
16 to 17 weeks. Okay. So someone is planting their garden for winter, like I did for the potatoes.
This is what we're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, I calculated out I wanted my potatoes at Christmas time,
Yep.
120 days, so I did 100 days and I counted back and then did 3-week increments of planting. And so we need, yes, so those that are watching, when it comes to the planting side of it, you need to take into consideration your 7 days over there, your month over here, and then roughly your 16 weeks over there for harvest.
Yeah.
So you got to calendar that into your pegging.
It's not rocket science. Keep a diary, dates,
Yep.
date your plants. Yeah, and there's some people date their rows when they plant it, and they keep it on when they're ready and put it all in their diary.
Yep.
And get a cheap diary from the local $2 shop. That's what you need.
Yep. Hey whānau, you've been watching Kaitiaki Māra Backyard Gardens. We're doing with Tony Henderson from Zion Gardens here at Kaikui Baptist Church in my backyard garden. you've been watching our seedling sowing and propagation workshop. Yeah, click the like button, click the share button, and share this around, getting people back into their backyard gardens around food security and sustainability. We're going to have a bit of a cuppa, and then we're going to do some work ourselves. Okay. Well, you've seen the photo just before this one. I've planted direct sow into the punnet, and each punnet has 6 modules, and so I've got 2 punnets of cabbage, 1 punnet of cauliflower, 1 punnet of onions or spring onions, and 2 punnets of lettuce. And yeah, following on now the process of germination. I just need to make a cover for this, so the next 5 days got to keep an eye on it, then yeah, put it out in the sun, getting them hard off, and growing from there. And so then there'll be another month's time. From there we will move around to what we have like on this side over here. So it'll be a month's time. These are getting planted out. We were working in the garden yesterday at Phil's place, so they're going to be planted out there. I'm going to be planting these off today. And then in the shed, so my process that I'm going to develop here in the system is I'll plant out, I'll go in the shed with a cover in 7 days, then I'll move them out here to grow and to mature for a month, and then move them from there into planting around my mother. So hopefully we have this cycle going on. The feeding that I'm going to be giving my materials, and particularly the ones that are out here, is I'll spray a little bit of water and keep them for the next 7 days moist, but I'll use some of my worm juice in the water container. It's just there, all of those, and then we plant them over here. I'm going to be planting, watering these lot here because I've just been planted, but yeah, it's pretty much how we do it. So hopefully the cycle of if these take 16 weeks, then every 2 to 3 weeks I'll be planting out vegetables across the Māra that we have, and eventually out there and over here raised beds, so that we have this continual flow of vegetables coming through that's sustainable. Okay. This is our wrap up for our seed germination workshop that we run today. I want to say thank you, a big shout out to Tony Henderson from Zion Gardens, a retired organic grower. Also shout out to Northland Trust for their support in regards to this year. We received some funding from them to help purchase our wood chipper, but also for our compost and seed germination materials, and to others, Whangarei Central for BMF Group, they support our program. Keep an eye on the space. We're looking at other projects. We've got 3 Māra going on at the moment. The only one that I can legitimately say is going organic is the one in my backyard, because I control the space. Our other Māra, even though we try to follow principles of Hua Parakore, because they're in other people's garden, I can't guarantee their organic space on that, but we do give them information around the organic growing and things for them to consider. But like we experienced the other day with Matua Phil's place, the landlord came in, sprayed one of the trees, or the series of trees there, and in so doing it killed his garden, so we had to do a garden reset there, and we're working on that one on the previously, and so some of the seedlings that we've got here we'll be planting out. But our kaupapa here is to find solutions for food security and sustainability, and that starts with knowing your seeds, the whakapapa of your seeds and where they come from, where you've sourced them. And you would have seen in our workshop today, we've talked a bit about that. We also think about the mauri of the soil, and the health of the soil, what's going on inside the organisms and the culture of your soil and how you're looking after that. So composting, manure, sheep pellets, blood and bone, worm castings and worm juice. So we were wanting to always to look after and putting nutrients back into the soil. 3 elements in there. You've got your microorganisms, you've got worms, and you've got fungi, and you're wanting those to work together and build this beautiful ecology and community like a web of interrelationships of whanaungatanga happening at that level. But yeah, no, thanks for those that came along and sharing together and just ideas and knowledge. I picked up a few things around particularly the germination of seeds and the different things that we've done. So I hope you enjoyed it. Click the like button, click the share button, and if you're ever around in Kaitiaki, come on, pop down to our Baptist Church and have a look what we're doing, and you'll see us around town. Nō reira, mihi atu kia koutou e whānau. This is Rewa Te Kau from Kaitiaki Māra, Backyard Gardens, Food Security and Sustainability solutions for our whānau moving forward.